It's not particularly likely, but it's not beyond the bounds of possibility that a first podium for Lada, maybe at Imola. It's one of the least likely tracks you'd think, given that they think their biggest problem is straight line speed. But who knows? As you said, you know, anything can happen.
Well, he'll have been buoyed by that first performance, by that first result. So yeah, you'll be feeling good. You know, we got the thumbs up there in the car. I think he's probably feeling quite well. And as you say, it's almost a no-lose situation. You know, everyone expects him to go back from there and maintain position, then it's like a second win of the day.
Yeah, getting past him is not going to be the work of a moment. We saw that in race 1. He defended like Billy O against everybody that came up behind him and held them all off. So yes, it's absolutely not going to be easy. And in fact, Nicola Larini, last on the grid, he is there. And there's Alan Menu's engineer John Waterman. Mike Allan will be definitely hoping for a big result out of this one, and Tomo just creeping away slowly from the grid.
Saving his clutch.
Yes, I was going to say, I hope that's not a sign of something going wrong under the bonnet there. Well, again, you see, that's my view is always something wrong, and your view as the racing driver is ease it away, creep away, just chug away, and don't stress the clutch too much. You're in a really good position. So, I mean, there's all those kind of psychology things that you don't appreciate, that drivers all go through their minds. So, weaving away then on the warm-up lap. Final European race, round 20 of the championship. And from here on in, well, who knows? Okayama last year, wet to dry, dry to wet, and everything in between in terms of weather. We may well run into exactly the same again in 2009's championship, and that produced some spectacular results, including an outright win for Tom Coronel in his independent Seat, and that was one of his day of days. If he could even countenance doing the same again, then you wouldn't be able to see him for dust where the party was starting. Gabriele Tarquini is our championship leader by 9 from teammate Ivan Muller, and Augusto Farfus will have done really supremely well if he comes away here with anything other than 2 zeros in the accounts column, because starting down 22nd on the grid, it's a very tough ask. It's going to be a long way back before we see him. Well, there's Bart Mampai and Roberto Ravaglia. There is Eric Nev of Chevrolet Racing. Bart Mampai runs Andy Prio's car, and Roberto Ravaglia those of Zanardi and Hernandez. Some very experienced men on the pit wall, some very experienced men in these cars. And Peter, you know, let's hope we get through the first corner safely, because it should produce some pretty spectacular racing either way.
Well, hopefully they've learned from the first race. It's just, everyone's just got to keep cool, and I think this time they'll get through a bit smoother. As you say, it's a slower entry speed because of the standing start. But, you know, it's touring car and anything can happen.
Yes, racing drivers learning their lessons from times. The only problem is, of course, everybody wants to make up a place in the first lap before it settles down and before you get held up behind somebody. And there is Andrea Larini. He has been black flagged out of race 1, but obviously he has been allowed to start race 2. So no further penalty ensuing from avoiding the black flags. And this is a great view we didn't see during race 1. We saw a lot in qualifying and free practice. Helmet cam with Gabriele Tarquini. Gives you a very different view of how things are happening, not just a static shot inside the camera. Gives you an idea of what the driver's head is doing, where he's looking. In fact, a replay of that into the first corner, where he's... You know, the car's going sideways. I'd like to see where his eyes were focused then, straight ahead as he tried to sort it out. But this second start might be a little bit more flicking out to check the mirrors.
Well, they might have been more out of the side window, because I think he got a bit of a nudge as well. So
he did.
You know, both those guys up the front, they controlled the slides well, and in fact 3 of them, Huffy as well. So yeah, hopefully they won't have to go through that again.
Well, we'll certainly be hoping for a clean start this time as we get away for round 20 in Imola. Alan Menu sits on pole position. And alongside him is Sergio Hernandez. James Thompson in third place ahead of Tom Coronel. And 7th and 8th on the grid, the two Seats of Ivan Muller and championship leader Gabriele Tarquini, just under that start line banner. It is a standing start, so once the grid is completed, as Nicola Larini rolls into his grid spot, the red lights will come on. 5 of them. Long hold, away they go. Oh, and Thompson's barely away at all. Great start, though, from Zanardi. Hernandez is looking to challenge Menu, but wow, that Chevrolet, once it got up into the gears, has really picked up the pace. Thompson is dropping down the order, but Menu leads. Hernandez, Zanardi, and then Huff. That's your 1, 2, 3, 4. Thompson turns in 5th. Tarquini on the outside, still on the outside. Ooh, and Tarquini and Muller get a little bobble, but Gabriele got ahead of Ivan again at that start. He really is fired up, and they're still up behind Thompson, who's challenging Huffy. He goes inside Huff at Villeneuve. He's on the outside now, and he's still there, and he's still there, and they're coming up to Tosa, and he's going to try and retake 4th place from Rob Huff. Huff's on the outside in the Chevrolet. Then the Seats are going to try and pushing up the hill. The loser at the start was Coronel, getting shuffled down the order, and Tarquini being bumbled out there.
No, Tarquini's actually powering up the hill.
Oh, yes, he is.
Past Thompson.
Oh, on grunt alone. That's a big pass, and through goes Ivan as well. There's nothing that Jimmy could do about that. He's behind him at the Piratella, and he's got Coronel to deal with. Still, Menu leads, and after yesterday's depression with that engine blow-up, I think it's going to take a lot more than a determined BMW to unsettle Menu from the lead of this race.
Menu's strength, as far as I'm concerned, is being at the front. He does control the race very well. He won a lot of races in the last few years, and you know, I remember back from my days in the mid-90s when he was in touring car and he was the man, and he could just control the race so well, and he just basically pick his own speed, pick his own lines, and win the race.
Well, that's why this championship is so hard for younger guys like Sergio Hernandez there in 2nd place. You're right, he's got Menu in front with like 10, 15 years of top-class touring car success, and Tarquini gets inside Rob Huff. Huff tries to come off the corner on his normal line. There's contact, and he's dropping right down the order. Farfus is already in front of Prio. Prio was 13th at the last sector. Farfus was 17th, and Augusto Farfus is 14th. Huff has gone behind him. So Augusto Farfus as Zanardi looks to get by Hernandez, and Hernandez is definitely holding up the Italian. Oh, Janae through past Boardman. Tom's on the dirt on the outside.
He's making a break for it here now.
Yes, he is. And Zanardi is going by Hernandez now, but so too is Ivan Muller. That's Ivan around the outside for 2nd. What a move! Can he hold on to it? Yes, he does. Fantastic car control from Ivan Muller. Got the drop on both BMWs, and that's why Zanardi wanted to get by, because Hernandez was holding everybody up. Wow, Rob Huff comes back on after another bruising incident. Now then, trouble for Alain Menu. He's led a lap. We're on lap 2 of 11, but suddenly Ivan Muller is released, and he is going to take the lead of this race in the next lap if it kills him. It's exactly what Ivan needed. He's in clear air ahead of Gabriele. Gabriele's got to get by Sergio Hernandez BMW as well.
It's exactly what Alan doesn't really need as well. I'm sure he was wishing that those BMWs would just fight on a bit harder and keep the Seat back a bit longer, but they're too busy tripping over each other, and Muller just passed both of them in one go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Zanardi that's 3rd, Tarquini that's 4th, Hernandez in 5th position. Place is changing with almost every corner. Looking back from Gabriele Tarquini, he did have James Thompson behind him at the line, but Tomo's got shuffled further back down the order. Menu leads. The Seat in 2nd is Muller, Zanardi, Tarquini, then Hernandez. And there is Thompson, so he's in 6th position still, in fact, Tomo. So he's looking like he might score points again. Not sure Portero and Coronel are going to get by him. They've got their own battle. Portero's jumped Tom Coronel at the start and on lap 1. So Coronel will now be determined to get back in front of the BMW if he can. But Menu's lead is under threat. Ivan Muller was 1.3 seconds quicker on the last lap.
That's the power of the TDI down the straight, just closed right up. he was actually over a second quicker. Muller was over a second quicker than Menu on that last lap.
He absolutely was, and here he comes. He's going to make the pass. Menu defending on the inside, but Muller's just going to drive past him on speed, and we've seen him make the outside pass here, so he's cleaned the line a little. There you go. He leads from Villeneuve, and Tarquini is right behind him. They're breathing again. Tarquini on the dirt, and Alain's going to have nothing to say about this. I think the best he can do probably is hold off Zanardi for third position.
Here comes Tarquini now up the hill with that power. Unbelievable. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Further back, all arms and elbows. Look, Hernandez on the grass. Portero shoving his way through. Portero's got to score big. Hernandez is inside him as Menu holds off Zanardi right behind. Real drama behind Thompson. And did they make it through? Well, somebody has. It's Hernandez, then Daste. I think there was a collision. It's a white BMW. I'm not sure Hernandez or Portero made it through, and I can't see Coronel there either. So we need to get a little look back behind James Thompson and see what's going on. The Seats are gone, and Menu holding off Zanardi. Okay, there's Portero, Daste, Genet, and Hernandez, and there's Portero and Coronel. They both got shuffled right back. They must, Portero must have gone wide, and Coronel went wide with him. Well, it's dramatic stuff, but pretty much as you might have expected, but a lot earlier than I would have anticipated. Those two turbo diesel Seats have worked their way right to the front, and my goodness, they were very, very fast indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter how good a controlling driver Menu is. There's no way he can hold that power back.
Right, Gabriele Tarquini's fastest lap, a 1 minute 58.8. Menu's a 2 minute dead. So it's 1.9 seconds quicker on the lap in which he passed Menu for the lead, Gabriele Tarquini for second place. That's just incredible. And there is Farfus, now past Coronel, who was 11th. Rydell's up the order as well, and so is Genet as well, though. So every time that Farfus makes a place, those two Seats in front of him are making places as well. They're keeping his job just as hard as it was. Now they're catching the BMWs and into the points. Menu defends from Zanardi in the foreground. Thompson still there in 5th place. And, you know, it could have fallen into his lap, couldn't it? I don't think the Zanardi is going to give up trying. I don't think Menu's going to give up defending.
Well, it's a matter of time before Zanardi starts tapping the back of Menu, I would have thought, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely so. So we'll wait and see. Thompson is right there as well, ideally placed. And this is now what he's got to do, is stay right with them and be ideally placed. If one of them drifts offline and has a little bobble, boom, he's got to go through. Let's have a look.
Fair play to him. He's down, Thompson now down into the 59s. You know, he's relatively quick. That was a replay of the huff of it. I think that was a bit strong.
Tapping him in, car drifts wide. Got so much turning on the inside of these diesels with all that weight over the front wheels in the first laps. And Huff was just trying to stay on the track there. It's not like he was trying to cut across on the inside. And this is the pass for the lead. Villeneuve, not frequently used for overtaking. But again, so much grip to spare on those front-wheel drive Seats.
Right round the outside. Great move.
Now then, here's the $64,000 question. How long is it going to take Tarquini to make the pass on Ivan Muller? He's not going to not try, is he? They're clear now. It's not like in race 1 where Huff was right up Muller's bumper. Tarquini's going to try and win this one as well.
Well, we heard from Muller earlier on in his interview that he reckoned he was quicker than Tarquini, then Tarquini was quicker than him, then he was quicker again. So it might be that in another couple of laps it'll settle down and maybe Muller can start eking out a little bit of a gap.
Tarquini putting nothing on the back burner. A 1:57.9 fastest lap on that last lap. Everybody else 1:58. Menu 1:58.7 in 3rd place. Again, nearly a full second slower than the man in 2nd place. Thompson's right there. Settled down a little behind as well.
Menu's having to drive a bit more of a defensive line, you know, just trying to control Zanardi behind him. And as I said, you know, I don't think it's going to be very long before Zanardi gets a bit frustrated with that and starts tapping him.
Just in the background, saw Farfus making a move on Portero for 10th. As the leaders go through Acqua Minerale, again, now you see Tarquini, to me, the body English looks the same as Zanardi. He's not really lunging yet, but he is really looking to get by. There's Andrea Lorini further back, well out of the top 20. But the progress of Farfus, he was 11th at the start of the lap. He, I'm sure, has now completed, no, he hasn't completed the move on Felix Portero. I tell you what, Portero better let him by pretty flipping quick if he ever wants to get any spares for the team.
I think
then, of course, in front is Stefano Daste.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be some radio contact going in there very soon, I would have thought.
Well, Daste will hold off Rydell. Daste's 8th at the moment, and yeah, if Portero doesn't pull over on the straight and just allow Farfus to go by, then there will be some marching down the pit road to get to his team to tell him to get the hell out the way. It's much more important for BMW that they score points in the main championship than Portero closes up on Coronel. Well, here comes Farfus, and he's making no bones about it. I'm going by, get out of the way. Yes, indicators on. So, but the trouble for Portero is he doesn't want to let Coronel there in the blue Seat get by him and lead the independence category, or take second away from him in the independence.
There's Andy just moving by Tommy Cornell as well.
Thompson looking at Zanardi. He's got the bit between his teeth, Tomo, hasn't he? He's looking for 4th place. The BMW's holding it up the ladder. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's basically Alan's driving has kind of backed the other cars. They've backed them back into the path of Tomo and of the BMW behind him, so it's going to make a good race in these laps to come.
I saw Alex's wife and his team bosses, his engineers. So he's in 4th place, Menu's still in 3rd and just starting to creep away a little, and that's what works, is you back the man up into somebody behind who's attacking, and suddenly Zanardi's slower because he's fighting Thompson, Thompson's fighting Hernandez, but really crucially at the back, look at the pace of Jordi Genet, 1:58.0. Everybody in front of him 2 or 3 tenths a second a lap slower than that, so Genet might really start clawing his way up the order here. And with Tarquini in 2nd place over the Variante Alta, nothing to choose between these two guys. They're 0.29 of a second apart, which is what, 2 car lengths at most. And right at the apex of the corner, you know, a couple of feet between them.
Slightly different lines between the 2 cars there.
Yeah. Well, again, you see, when you're the hunter, Peter, you can use more of the road, can't you? Because you know where you're going. When you're defending, you've got to hedge your bets a bit.
That's right, yeah. I mean, it's much easier being the car that follows, because these cars don't develop too much downforce, so it's not like Formula 1 or anything close. You can run right behind the other car and pick up the toe on the straight as well, like these 2 BMWs are doing.
Now, here's Priaulx trying to go by Portero. Bad news for Augusto Farfus is that Rydell got by Stefano Daste, and Genet and Hernandez make contact. Another BMW out, so Genet and Rydell both in the points. They are now 6th and 7th. Hernandez out of 6th position.
Farfus up 1 place, obviously, as well, so he's getting closer to the points now.
Well, how would you read that one? Genet, bit ambitious up the inside, perhaps?
Perhaps a little bit naughty.
Yeah, and Farfus, this is the view back from Stefano Daste. Now Farfus is in front of him, so Farfus is in the points. 1 point for Augusto Farfus. For BMW, though, Hernandez is out and Farfus is in, but he's further down and scoring less points. And that was a pretty clean pass. Daste, as with everybody else in a BMW, knows exactly what's going on in the championship. They're not going to get in the way. Daste still leading the Indies trophy in this race at the moment. There is Portero and Coronel battling over 2nd and 3rd in the BMW and the Seat. Priaulx's gone by them as well. And again, for Priaulx, getting into the points, that's important for BMW. Menu, Zanardi and Thompson, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. But Genet and now Rydell behind him. This is really bad news for Menu, Zanardi and Thompson, because those Seats aren't going to be any slower than the 2 out front, really, are they? In fact, Rydell, fastest race lap on that lap, 1:58.4. 1:57.4 rather, and Zanardi and Menu are doing 1:58.4 laps. So though Genet and Rydell are going to be all over the back of them in a lap. So 7 laps completed, onto lap 8. No question it's going to be a Seat 1-2. Real question for me is, will they get a clean sweep of the podium? Will one of those, will Genet or Rydell work their way sufficiently up the order in the last 3 laps to actually get onto the podium? I think they got the pace. Boardman and, oh, that was Ladigan, yeah.
Ladigan.
That was for 17th place. Now here come Genet. Rydell's passing Genet in the background as we look at Boardman and Huff recovering. So Huffy goes up from 19th to 18th. So Rydell taking 6th from Genet, I think there. He had the fastest one. And further back again, here's the battle. And that is Thiago Monteiro in there as well. With Franz Engsler, I believe. No, that's Christian Poulsen. And the yellow Seat is Andrea Larini. But we need to look further forward to where Rickard Rydell has got to. He's got a front in front of Genet. This is Prio trying to pass Daste for 9th. Again, he'll go down the inside, will he, into Acqua Minerale. Daste could afford to give away the place there and not lose too much room. But maybe it'll be up towards the top of the hill.
I think he might just tow him down the main straight again and give him a slingshot.
Again, we just had a quick glimpse of the battle with Thompson, and Thompson with Rydell all over the back of the Lada. So Rydell looking to take 5th place from James Thompson. Well, this is the incident back at Tamburello. Huff going inside. Tom Boardman tucking in behind him. Oh, there we go, there's the battle for 5th. James Thompson in the Lada, and he's dropped off from the back of Menu and Zanardi because now he was in full-on defensive mode. In fact, Rydell did not get by Genet. I thought he had completed that pass, but Geordie is right up behind Thompson, and surely now, yes, 1 and possibly even 2 of them, Peter, might get by before they get to the end of the straight.
Yeah, Thompson's got a job in his hands now. Squirming on the brakes, he might run wide here.
I think he just about got it under control. Well, they've got the straight line speed that Thompson had last year in his Honda here. He was very quick indeed down the front straight, and I'm sure he's trimmed the Lada out for maximum pace. It's not enough to hold off the turbo diesels. So Jordi Genet moves up to 5th, James Thompson is in 6th, and Rickard Rydell, again with these 2 uphill climbs from here, but particularly out of Acqua Minerale as well. That's really giving the Seats a huge advantage over everyone else. Rydell pushing, pushing, pushing. Thompson on the inside at Piratella, using all the curbs. The Ladas have always been pretty good on the curbs. They don't mind riding them, but look, here comes Farfus. This could be entertaining. He's 8th, and this is the battle for 6th. So Farfus might pick up a place or 2 more here. That's not bad from 22nd on the grid.
Fantastic, yeah. I mean, he's had the benefit of the other BMWs making it easy for him, but now he's right in amongst it with Rydell, and with Rydell getting backed up towards him, then it's, you know, it's an ideal chance for him to make a break for it.
Yeah, absolutely, and actually that's some sort of salvation for Tomo as well, because Rydell's deal now is to stop Farfus getting more points than he possibly can. So he's now got to concentrate on keeping Farfus out of 7th. So that gives Thompson a chance to escape. On to lap 9 then, or completing lap 9 of 11, is Ivan Muller, Gabriele Tarquini. As before, I mean, they might well be on a tow rope, mightn't they? They've never been more than a couple of car lengths apart at any stage of this race.
Yeah, I mean, it really does take a bit.
Oh my goodness, that's a huge one! Thiago Monteiro's car now, it looks like that was a big failure, and just cut to that, as I thought that Tarquini was just, contact with Tom Boardman, but was that front wheel broken beforehand? It's a very fast accident down into the Ravazza. I'm not sure that right front corner wasn't broken beforehand, and I thought Tarquini was having a lunge at Ivan, and he was, and then we cut back.
Him,
yeah, we cut back to Thiago, and I suddenly thought that was Gabriele shooting straight off in the first corner, because he was shaping up for that pass, and that might be his only chance. Just there, made contact, didn't quite have enough room to go around the outside. See, when it's your teammate, Pete, you've got to be so careful, because you don't want to go back with 2 wrecked cars, 1st and 2nd.
That's it, yeah. I mean, it's sometimes your boss really will come down hard on you for doing something like that. So I think maybe that's his token little go. Is that
Ricard's trying to go around the outside. Well, there's Thiago. I'd like to see a moment or two of that again, because I have a feeling that his right front wheel was turning sharp right, and that's what put him into the back of Boardman's car. Oh, so Gabrielli's right back where he was, though. He's not far away again. This is lap 10. They're going on to the last lap. So coming up, there's Ivan's fiance. Coming up is Gabrielli's last chance. He's got to be so good through the Ravazza here. He's got to close a lot on Ivan and then have another lunge into that first corner.
Oh, he's very quick through that last corner.
Only one man has ever won both races in a weekend, and that was James Thompson for Alfa Romeo. Tarquini denied Zanardi the chance to do so last year. We've had a few who have had a first and then a second in race 2, and Tarquini may well get up to that stage, but he's going to have a lunge. He's not close enough unless Ivan Muller makes a mistake. But again, he's the champion and he doesn't give away ground more than he has to. Tarquini is still all over him. For third, has Zanardi given up? Not a bit of it. He wants to be on a podium here in Imola. Janae in 5th, Thompson is in 6th, and still Rydell. Well, he's I think he's held off Farfus. Farfus has got Prio behind who won't pass. The real question is whether Tarquini gets another shot at Ivan Muller.
I think Rydell's starting to line up Tomo again and closing back in after that failed attempt.
Gabrielli is so close, so close. He's going to have a lunge down into Aqua Minerale. Never mind Sergio Hernandez and Felix Portero battling for 10th position. Let's look at the battle for the lead. They're through Aqua Minerale now and out the other side, or they've had a big shunt. We're not entirely sure which. Well, Hernandez moves up, but at no expense to anyone else. And all the drama of Aqua Minerale in the lead battle completely lost. Did Tarquini get close? Don't know. And what we do know, though, is he didn't get past Ivan Muller.
Tarquini's so good on the brakes, but Muller just... maybe he's running a little bit less wing. He just tends to pull away a little bit on the straights.
It's quite a long run to the finish line here as well, out of the final corner, so there might still be a chance for a lunge from Gabrielli. If he gets a great run through Ravazza again, he does, but it sort of squanders it into the second corner. Ivan Muller's still in front, and Ivan is going to take the checkered flag. Surely Gabrielli can't out-drag him from there. It's going to be a win and a second place apiece. Honours even between the two teammates. Ivan Muller wins, Gabrielli Tarquini second. I want to see the helmet cam version of Aqua Minerale on the last lap. Menu on the podium in 3rd, another Chevy podium. Zanardi 4th, Janae Thompson again in 6th, ahead of Rydell in 7th, and Augusto Farfus does get a single point in 8th place. Not much return on the weekend, but 1 point more than nothing. 1 point is worth its weight in gold from time to time. So double podium for Chevrolet. One for Rob Huff, one for Alain Menu, but a 1-2 for each of the top drivers in the championship. There is Arnaud, Ivan's engineer.
I think Chevy, I mean, obviously Seat are very happy, but Chevy have got to be quite happy with that. Two podiums on a track that really isn't their forte, so you know, it was never going to be anyone else but Seat's day.
Let's see who set the fastest laps. Ivan Muller, 157.99. Tarquini, 157.91. Rydell, 157.45. But Farfus, 157.82. Quicker than either Muller or Tarquini managed. But it's not how fast you are over the whole lap. It's where you're fast that makes the big difference. And as we saw, they were just able to pull out and drive by up the hill to pass whoever they wanted. And that's the big difference between the turbo diesel and the other engines in the field that produce their power in a very different way. And that's one of the big advantages for Muller and Tarquini in the run-in to the end of the season. Well, they win and take a 1-2 for Seat, and we'll hear from them in just a minute.